So it's another 3 weeks of lockdown for us here in Malaysia. I think there would be more to come. Already I feel so drained and tired. Yeah, I thought I'd talk about my challenges to this self-isolation thing. Even my friends whom I consider normal and well-adjusted, happy-go-lucky, now complaining to me that they are going crazy. Maybe they're even getting depressed. So I thought it was a good time to talk about my journey through mental health, what happened to me, and also those things that I learned from this journey. I led a normal life till I was about 40, a life full of stress and challenges, but you just plow through it. But then one day in my 40s, something changed. And it was the day when I woke up and I felt so dizzy. Everything was spinning around a bit, and I was really anxious, feeling a great feel of doom. Something bad was going to happen. I got dressed, I went to work as usual. Then I went to see the doctor. They put me through all the tests. Everything came back normal. But this anxiety was just not leaving me. It was there day to day until finally they referred me to a psychiatrist who diagnosed me with depression and anxiety. And the guy said maybe some hormonal changes you're going through. So okay, that was the start. That was the time I fell into that deep, deep pit. Basically, you can say, I think my mind broke at the time. And although I did claw my way out, finally, that thing changed me forever. The memory of it remained. It was kind of a trauma that was life-changing. And the anxiety really never went away. I just learned to cope with it and adjust to it as best as I could. And part of my coping mechanism was actually changing certain aspects of my life. Mostly I learned the value of friendships and how to depend on others, how to reach out to others for help. I also learned the benefits of volunteering, even getting to appreciate support groups, forming little social club, play games with friends, in essence, socializing more. There were some things I had to give up, like travel, because the anxiety was just too much. Gradually I traveled less and less until I just gave up on it altogether, but traveled enough already by that time. One fortunate thing that happened to me was I discovered a mental health NGO called MIASA. They run a support group, and there I could meet other people who were going through the same issues as I was going through. For that, I didn't have anybody that I knew at least had mental issues. I can't thank MIASA enough because they are a source of constant support. I had been volunteering for quite some time at the Selayang Hospital, which is where my psychiatrist is, to do an art class once a week. And I also started to do it in MIASA until this pandemic happened. It was ongoing. And MIASA also was going to start up a clubhouse where we could all meet and chill out, maybe. Even that is on hold now, of course. It was quite a fun time with MIASA, and I really appreciate them. One thing I got out of this experience was empathy. Now, if you had asked me before I was 40, you asked me about mental illness or wanted to talk to me about mental illness, I would have just tuned out. But now I can really understand people who are going through this kind of mental anguish and pain. Now, if you ask me to offer a simple explanation of mental illness, I would always relate it, in my case at least, to PTSD. When I went into depression, I went into trauma. That memory of that experience stayed with me all this time. That trauma shapes my thinking to this day. PTSD, anyway, is a post-traumatic stress disorder. It is kind of seared into my mind. You can recover, but you cannot forget. That's the way it goes. If you've never gone through any mental health issues, oh, great, I'm happy for you. But I would urge you to be a bit kinder to people who have gone through this pain. It's an invisible pain. It's a mental pain that's hard to relate to if you haven't gone through it. But believe me, it's just as real as physical pain. And also, it's an invisible pain that's heavily stigmatized in our society, unfortunately. So it's an added burden to anybody that's going through it. At this time, especially in this pandemic, it's hard to deal with these isolation issues, which just makes the problem even worse. Basically, it was all the social help I got that took me through all of this. This social help, of course, is much reduced now. It's all now online, which is just not the same. I kind of miss all the face-to-face interactions and joviality and the happy mingling. But this is what we need to combat the pandemic. So we just have to soldier on. I hope that explains why I find it a bit hard to push through this lockdown. And I feel that it's the same probably for many others who are going through all these mental issues, and now we have this to deal with. If you're out there and you know somebody is struggling with this kind of issues, I would urge you to be a bit kinder and more compassionate towards them, because you're lucky. You don't have to deal with these multiple kind of issues, but they have to, and they need social support, and they can find it really hard to get it now. I'm going to put a link down to a YouTube therapist who talks about the grief issues during the lockdown. I find this quite illuminating. It's what everybody is going through now. And also, I think I'll put a link to Miasa, because if you're in the Klang Valley in Malaysia, they're a good resource to come to. And they have teamed up with quite a few other NGOs. When this lockdown ends, we have a clubhouse running where people can come and just socialize, get some help. So with that, I thank you for listening. Bye.